Welcome back. Today we're diving into Revelation, but we're trying to bypass some of the endless speculation. We want to look strictly at the text's own roadmap, specifically, the sequence of future events kicked off by the seven seals.
Yeah, and to really get this, you absolutely have to start with the context.
Yeah.
I mean, this book wasn't written to freak people out. It was actually a letter meant to comfort and encourage Christians who were facing terrible persecution, probably around AD 90 to 96 under the Emperor Domitian.
Okay, right. Comfort, not panic. So let's lay out the structure we're working with. The book itself seems to break down into three main parts, time-wise. Things already seen, things that are now, that's the letters to the seven churches, and then the future part, those that are to take place after this. That starts in chapter 4. And our focus today is squarely on that future bit, beginning with the seals.
Exactly. And the initial roadmap for these future events, well, it unfolds chronologically at first. You have the breaking of the seven seals in chapters 6 and 7. These basically signal that the Great Tribulation is approaching, like right around the corner. After the seals are done, then you get the seven trumpets, which take us through chapter 11.
Right. Seals, then trumpets. But then there's this structural interruption, isn't there? That's key. After the trumpets, we hit chapters 12, 13, and 14. And these aren't the next events in time, are they? They seem to function more like an abridged core commentary, sort of a pause to explain the bigger picture.
That's a really good way to put it, yeah. It summarizes the whole sweep of human redemption history. It gives you that essential theological background before you dive into the final, really catastrophic events later on. If you miss that structural insert, if you just read straight through thinking it's all chronological, the rest of the prophecies can feel, well, kind of scattered and confusing.
Okay, got it. That's super helpful for navigating. So let's get into the first four seals then, in chapter 6. The source material seems to suggest these aren't like God actively planning these disasters from scratch, but more like signs showing the end times are imminent and they're a direct result of human choices, like disobedience and especially greed.
Precisely. It's presented as the consequences unfolding. So the first seal opens and we see the white horse. Its rider has a bow and is given a crown and goes out conquering and to conquer. Now, this is often interpreted not as Christ, but as an entity representing, well, greedy, unchecked self-satisfaction that inevitably leads to conflict. Think about the Roman Empire's relentless expansion back then, or maybe, any modern global system that just constantly seeks more power, more control.
Okay, so if the white horse represents that motive, that relentless, greedy ambition, does the text imply the red horse, seal 2, is the guaranteed result of it? The rider takes peace from the earth, making people kill each other. Is that the direct fallout?
That seems to be exactly the progression. Yes. That drive for more, that self-satisfaction, it spills over immediately into strife, into war on a large scale, which then leads directly, almost inevitably, to the third seal, the black horse.
Ah, the one with the scales.
Right. The rider holds a pair of scales. This is stark picture language for severe economic collapse and famine. And the detail given is just chilling. A denarius that was a full day's wage for a common laborer would only buy a small quart of wheat. That's barely enough food for one person for maybe one small meal. Forget feeding a family.
Wow.
And the text attributes this directly to the effects of greed. The powerful few hoarding resources, monopolizing wealth. It creates this radical, deadly disparity. The rich getting richer, the poor literally starving.
That's a terrifying picture of economic injustice leading to famine. So we've had ambition, then war, then economic collapse. What's the final stage in this initial sequence? Seal 4, the pale horse?
This one is maybe the most direct. Its rider is explicitly named Death. And Hades, the realm of the dead, the consequence itself follows close behind him. Authority is given to them over a quarter of the earth. Imagine that scale today, maybe 2 billion people. And they kill using the sword, war, famine, starvation, and pestilence. That last one means things like plagues, group infectious fevers, epidemics, think COVID-19 or the Black Death historically, but on a potentially global scale. It's presented as the final horrific sign in this sequence that the world system, driven by its own choices, is heading towards unavoidable ruin.
Okay, so these four horsemen paint a grim picture of consequences spiraling out of control due to human greed and ambition.
Exactly. And this brings us back to who this was written for. The purpose of this terrifying vision wasn't just to scare them. It was to show those Christians living under Rome, and by extension, us today, that the world system they were part of, the Pax Romana then, or our global structures now, is fundamentally flawed. It's corrupted by human greed and self-interest, and because of that, it's structurally, inevitably heading toward destruction.
So for you listening now, what's the core takeaway here, based on the text itself? It seems the key message isn't really about trying to escape or, get some special pass. The duty that seems to be outlined is holiness. It's about living according to eternal values, being fundamentally separated from the world's destructive, self-satisfying trajectory.
Yeah, living differently within that reality. And remember, that really powerful command embedded right there in the text later on, do not seal this book. It's meant to be understood. Because while history seems to flow according to human choices, the big picture, the ultimate outcome, can't actually deviate from the path God foretold. The world's ruin, in this view, stems entirely from its refusal to change course, its insistence on that path of greed.